Hi, this is Professor Rob. This is Excel Grader 2. Okay, let's get started. We've already had step 1 completed. That means I started the Excel, I downloaded the file, and I saved it to my desktop. This way I can easily get this copy when I'm done and submit it for grade. So let's go on to number 2 where it says change the theme to slice. So how do we do that? Let's take a look. We're going to go into page layout, we're going to themes, and we're going to see slice right here. You see that? Anytime you watch this video and you feel like I'm going too fast, just slow it down, pause it or rewind. Remember to do that because this way it'll keep you up to speed on what needs to be done. Here's slice, done, and I've completed that theme. The next part to step 2 is to rename. I've already gone and done that. I want to show you how I do it. You double click on it, type in bulbs, type that in, double click on that tab for trees. I've done that. You can just type the number in and the name in. Oops. And then you hit trees. And now we're going to move on. The next part says activate now very important, the bulbs tab. Hit the bulbs tab. Now we're in the bulbs tab. Yeah, so to the right of column B, right here, they want to insert 2 columns. So I'm going to insert 2 columns. And it says cut columns. I don't want any cut columns. I just want to have 2 regular columns. Make sure it just says insert here. Now I have 2 columns already set. So in column C, I am going to type in item number right here. Item number. Basically, we're going to be splitting this column apart right here. Column B, we're splitting that. So category is going to be the next one in column D. If you read the instructions, it says right here, category as the column title in D. So we've got that done. So how do we do the next part? Which is, I'm going to type in, and using a flash fill. If you notice it says by using flash fill, type in the 2 new columns, and you want to split the data. So how we're going to do this is I'm going to type in 1239 because this is the item number. That's what I have right here. Now that I have this set, I'm going to say OK by hitting this little checkbox or enter, and then go over here to flash fill. This is under the home tab. And you notice the number, 1265, 1265. Next up is the category. So I'm just going to copy daffodils, put it over in the categories area, and I'm also going to do a flash fill for that. There it is. And if you notice, just do a check on it. This says 1285, that says 1285, and we have everything else we need here, all the different names of the flowers. Okay. So the next part is we've got to get rid of this column, column B. So I'm going to delete that. The next thing I'm doing is moving over to create a cut to column C. So I'm going to cut this, and it says paste this into column G. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to paste. There we go. And then it says to delete that empty C. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to hit delete. And the last part is A through F if you want to auto fit. So I'm going to highlight A through F. I bring up this little handle here. You see the double arrows with a single line, double click. It resizes it for you automatically. That completes number 3. Step number 5. It says, without grouping this sheet, make the following calculations in both worksheets. So now that we have the trees, we have the bulbs. I'm going to start with the bulbs tab. I'm going over to this B4. I'm going to enter this sum function by hitting equals sum, and notice it brings up the function for you. And at this point, it's going to ask you for all of the quantities in stock within those brackets. So I'm going to go down to where the quantity stock starts, and I'm going to move this down to the final section, which should be row 42. And I have to complete this function by putting in the last bracket by hitting Shift 0. And then it says apply a comma style. So there's the total items. Here's a comma style. This is located in a number under the tabs. And that's not accounting, I just need it as a general number. Make sure it says number with the comma style. Next, we're going into cells B5 to B8. Here it is, the average price and all that, to the median, the lowest, the highest, retail prices. Okay, so what does that mean and what do we do? So average price. Still look at the prices here. I'm going to type in equals AVG. Here's the average. And you can see it starts at the bracket again, and I'm going to take that retail price, bring it all the way down. And I'm going to close that bracket up. Hit enter. Before we get too far into these, all of this should be, according to the section 5, that we have to create an accounting format. Pull down to accounting. There it is. Should show $8.99. Let's verify that, make sure this is correct. I'm going to move this over and look at it. It says total items in stock 2008.47 and average price. You see this is 8.99, and you can see how it's all at this moment in those dollar or accounting style. Now I'm going to do the rest of the work where I'll write in median. All right, so this is going to be equal median. You start typing that word and it pops up. And again, you can continue to do this manually for now, so you can figure out how this works. All right, go back up. There we go. Next part is going to do the lowest. But there's not a formula for lowest. There's a different naming convention, and it's actually minimum. So I'm going to type in MIN, and it returns the smallest number in a set of values. Okay, so let's start that. Put our little bracket in, and then I'm going to highlight the numbers or the retail price, drag it all the way down, go hit enter, and let's take a look. That's $4.75. Now I'm going to do the same thing with high, but there's not a highest price, it's a maximum. So this equals max. Do that. I got my bracket on, and then I'm going to move the retail price down again. Click and drag, hit enter, and let's say $16.58. I'm just going to show you that this is correct. There's the numbers right there: $8.99, $8.42, $4.75, $16.58. So that's where we are, and that concludes. Well, let me just make sure it concludes number 5. Oh, the one thing I didn't do. Let me just make sure this is all in accounting format. And it is, but I'll just make sure everything's in accounting right here. Just these 4. The average, median, lowest, and highest are the only ones in this grouping that are going to be in accounting. Now we can move on to 6. Just notice that before we do move on to 6, we have to go to trees and do the same exact thing we did with bulbs. Okay, so let's do that again. So we'll go to trees. This time we're going to go into stock average, or excuse me, total. This is equals sum of total items in stock. I'm going to go down, highlight all that, hit enter, and let's just see if I'm correct. I'll bring this over. It's 3,503. There it is. And I also have to put in the comma style. So I'm going to do that right here, comma style. Okay. Let me make sure I got it. Just number itself, comma style. So now for the average price, I'm going to do equals AVG. AVG, average. Brings it up. I double click on it. Then I'm going to have the average price, which is I'm going to take this retail price, drag it all the way down, hit enter, and let's see if I got that. 33.43. Looks like I got that correct. And now the next one, I'm going to do this equals median, and then highlight retail price, drag it down, hit enter. It's 35.50, and now this equals not lowest but minimum. And I put my brackets on, highlight, drag down, hit enter. Shows $8, and then the last one is the highest, but it's not highest when you do the formula. It's called maximum or max. Double click on that, highlight, bring it down, then hit enter. The last thing it says, this has to be done in an accounting style. So these four have to be in an accounting style. So I'm going to do that now in accounting. Let's verify that this is all correct. I'm going to bring over my worksheet that is the completed worksheet, and notice that my numbers are correct. Here's number 7, which is step 7. Without grouping the sheets, make the following calculations in both worksheets. So whatever we do in bulbs or trees, we'll do in the other one. So let's start with the bulbs if you'd like. And it says in B10, here's B, here's 10. And do a count if. So watch this, a count if function. This is a function, so I hit equals. And I start to write the word count if. Now if you notice, it says right here count if. It says count the number of cells within a range that meet the given condition. Oops, I just lost it. So I hit equals. Again, I type in count if. So count if, double click on it, and I'm going over to category, and this is the types of tulips. I'm going to select all that. Now that's selected, I'm ready to do this insert function. Watch what happens. It shows me my range. That's what I just highlighted. But the one thing that we are looking for is very specifically the name tulips. So we're going to type in this criteria, TULIPS. I'm going to hit OK. Let's see if there's 5. There it is. 5 of them. Let's see if that's correct. And you can see 5. All right. Next up, we'll do the same thing for the trees side. And there's going to be evergreen. So this is going to be the same exact style, which would hit equals count if. So here it is, count if. Make sure I do this right here. This equals count if. Double click on it. And I'll move over to this insert function. My range are going to be categories. So I highlight all the categories. Copy, excuse me, I don't have to copy that. I just hit OK. Now my criteria is going to be evergreens. The number should be 4. Let me just double check. I'll move this over. And you see evergreen types 4, evergreen type 4. Good. So now that calculation's in there. I'm going to hit save. That moves us on to number 7. Without grouping the sheet, make the following calculations in both worksheets. So in G14, let's go to G14. Right here, here's G14. I'm going to type stock level. I'm just going to paste what I already copied there, but you can type in stock level. And then it says in G15, right underneath it, we're going to enter an if function to determine the items that must be ordered. If the quantity in stock is less than 75, the value, if true, is order. Otherwise, value, if false, is okay. So let's do this. It's a bit complicated at first, but you'll get right through it. So I'm going to put the formula in right here. And this is going to be the equals if statement. I'm going to double click that. And I'll go into the argument. So this way we can really have the details in front of us. You can always write them out in the formula area. However, the functions argument is really the best way to go when you're first starting logic test. And what we're trying to say is that this, if anything's less than 75, the stock level, you want to order it. And if it's otherwise, if it's higher, everything's okay. So you don't have to order something. So how do we do this? Let's take a look. So with the logic test, I wrote in, since we're looking at row 15, we're saying if A, which is the column A in 15, is less than 75, and if that's true, we're going to order. If that's false, that means it's not happening, but okay. Let's hit enter, see what happens. Looks like it's ordering. I have to order. So just double click on this and you can see what's going on. You can see the entire logic test written out. And let's get the entire screen here so you can see everything. Quantity in stock over here. So we have 49. Now watch what happens when we pull this list down. You don't have to retype at all. You're just going to have to pull down this list and watch what happens. You'll get that entire formula. So I've gone ahead and made a couple of these already by just copying and pasting. I'll show you. There's a couple ways to do this. Copy and paste, or you could use the little handle here and bring it all the way down. Another way to do it is highlight a cell, and that's what I'm going to do. I'll highlight this cell, and I'm going to bring everything all the way down, and I will go up, and this is a different way. This is a fill. I'm going to fill down. And let's just make sure that this is correct. Look at, we have everything here, but is this correct? So let's just take a look. I'll pull out just a little bit here from the tight view that we had. And if this is over the 75, we don't have to do anything about it. Look at that, it's okay. But if it's under, we have to order. You notice that right here. Now another way to check on this to see if we're right on is to take a look at the final product, and I'm going to do that for the trees. So we'll bring up the trees to see if I have this correct, and let's take a look here. It says order and Stewart right here. You see the Stewart grafted pecans? It looks like there's 49 in there, and that's what we have to order that. And it looks like my list is correct. All right, that means we can move on to the same exact thing for the bulbs. So let's do that together. All right, now we're in the bulbs area, and I started it quickly. Here it is. This is the logic test where I'm saying A15, if that is less than 75, I want you to order it. If it's true and if it's false, hit OK. Let's take a look. All right. Now that's for the bulbs. It says OK. So I'm going to take this, highlight the OK from that cell, from G15, and drag it all the way down. And here's what we're going to do is do our fill down. You see that we're going to fill it down. Now let's verify that this is working for us. So I'm going to bring this in here, and it looks like okay, 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 and then the yellow hoop is ordered. Let's take a look, make sure we got that. Okay, we have this straight. Nice. We'll move on. Moving on to number 8. This is 8. Without grouping a sheet, we're going to apply a formatting in both worksheets. So everything we do in bulbs, we've got to do in trees. And we're going to do it in a conditional formatting to the stock level column. Stock level. Okay, so let's do that conditional formatting. I'm going to highlight the whole thing. And it says conditional formatting. I'm going to go up to our conditional formatting area. Go up to a new rule. And we will choose. It very specifically says so that the cells that contain the text are formatted. So there's a variety of rule types. So we're going to go only to cells that contain, and we're going to say specific text that contain, must contain, what we're looking for is containing order. So order. So if it's specific text with the word order in it, we're going to make this format. If it says that, we're going to do a bold and italic. And then we're going to do a dark blue text 2, dark blue text 2, dark blue text 2. Here we go. Maybe I'll make that a little darker, dark blue text 2. Okay. Now I'll hit over right on that one. And then it says apply a gradient format, a gradient fill blue data bars in the quantity of stock column. So right before we do that, let's hit OK. And just make sure we have this correct so far. So I'm going to bring over my solution guide, and it looks like the blue might be a little darker on mine than theirs, so I'll have to see if that's a point deduction. I hope not. So let's just keep moving forward, and let's go to the quantity and stock area, as they say in this step-by-step guide. And it says go in here, and basically we're going to highlight this whole area under the stock level column. Just highlight this whole thing for us. Okay. And here we go. Is now we're going to do a gradient. This is still a conditional. This is all under the conditional formatting. And I'm going to do a blue gradient. All right. In that stock column. Let's do that. Click on it. I'll bring over and make sure that this is where we want to be, and that's looking very good. And let's go up to this number 78, 88, 109, 49. Okay, that's looking good. We got to do the same thing for the trees. Click on the trees. Here we are. I'm going to do the order and format table. Again, we're going into the new rule, a format that only contains a certain information or content, specific text containing, and that word again is order. The format has to be changed to bold italic, and then we'll go to that dark blue text 2. I'm going to hit OK, and I have this information here. I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going to just highlight all the way down, and since I've already got it set, I can just do a fill down. There we go. This part's done. Now we go over to the quantity and stock, where I highlight everything and go into conditional formatting for the gradient, which will be the blue. That ends number 8. Moving on to number 9. Number 9, we're going to say that we have to highlight A14 to G42, all the way down to G42. There we go. And this is make this into a table with headers and a table style. So how am I going to do it? I'm going to go, I've highlighted it already. Everything's highlighted, ready to go. And I'm going to go choose my table style. This is under number 9, and it's a table style light 20. You kind of have to hover around to see where you can find the light 20. And light is around here, so we have a light 20. Whoops, I just lost it here. Light 20. And it says my table as a header. Let's just double check to make sure it's right. And I hit OK. Let me just double check. Make sure this looks good. Looks at that 20 is set. It's got everything else in there. That color looks good. That's the first part of 9. Now we're going to insert a total row. Let's do that. For the total row, we're going to insert a total row right here. Insert a row, and it's a total row, so I'm going to just basically highlight everything. Here, insert a total row. And what we're going to do is make sure that there's a filter here. So by having everything highlighted, you just want to make sure that you go into the, see it has a filter button. You press it, and then hit the filter. And with the filtering part, we're going to just filter out only tulips. So I'm going to go down to tulips, hit that, hit OK, and then we have to do a sum. Whoops, excuse me, it's the wrong button. And then we're going to just be able to take this information, sum it up. So I've highlighted it. The buttons will work. So it's highlighted. And that little button on the right hand side, you see this? Totals, average count, sum, all that good stuff. And if you want to look at just summing the, I'm going to do the sum right here. It should be 433, which is right. And it says enter that number, 433, in the total quantities. This may be a bit sticky for you. I added an extra column here that I must get rid of. I did this by accident. So I'm going to hit this delete button. If you make that extra column, you don't want that. Alright, so moving on to number 10, to the clear the filter from the table, which is right here. We're going to clear the filter. Highlighting it, I hit clear, filter is gone. Alright, I'm going to get rid of this because it didn't say to have it in here, so I'll just delete this when now it's all set. Now clear the filter, sort the table on the item number column from smallest to highest. So let's do that. From smallest to largest. 1239 it starts with. I'm going to just make sure we got that right. There it is, 1239, 1265, 1285. There we go. So now number 11, we're going to go to the Trees tab, format the range A14 of G42. A14 to 42, and the trees. The trees. And we're going to do the same thing. Highlight the entire thing, hit that table style now, and this table style is going to be a little different. And table style says number 11 will be a light, table style light 19. Let's see, 17, 18. Here's table style 19. Hit OK. And then I'm going to add a total row. See this? And this is going to be temporary, so you can add some things up. And then you're going to sum the quantity in the stock area. So let's do that. Stock area. I'm going to do a sum. And then in order to see all that, to see very specifically evergreens, I'm going to go to that category button. I can do up here, you see, to evergreen, hit OK. And the number, the magic number should be 583, and it looks like 583 is correct. 583. I'm going to go up to 580, and then I'm going to put that number in here, 583. Record that in B11. Hit enter. Number 12, we're going to go clear the filter from the table. Okay. So highlight that. Up here, clear the filter. This is number 12. After you clear the filter, you're going to sort the table on the item number column. Item number column. You're going to sort it. And it says very specifically, you're going to do it from smallest to largest. At the same time, you're going to remove, in this format area, you're going to remove that total row. See this? Click on it. Total row goes away. At the bottom, you notice that row goes away. You want to be able to repeat row 14. Make sure it's highlighted. Let me show you what I'm doing here. Rows to repeat should be row 14. And then save your workbook. So let's save that. Group. Now we're on number 13. Group the two worksheets. When it says group worksheets, it's simply saying you hold the control key down, the CTRL control button on the bottom left, hold that button down, and then select all the tabs. It happens to be 2, but if you had 3, 4, 5 tabs, you can group them all by holding that control down. What this does, it helps you make a change in one worksheet. That change in that one worksheet will then change the other worksheet. So they all happen at once. That's why they're merged. So I have the 2 worksheets. Now I'm going to go up to the next part of number 13. I'm going to merge and center the title in cell A1 across the G1. So I'm going to go A1 to G1, and I'm going to hit merge and center. Now let's take a look. Well, actually, before we do, A1 to G1, and apply the title cell style. All right, so we have to title cell style. Okay, so let's look for the title cell. Oops, title cell. Click on that, and we have title cell right here. It's the title. The next part, we'll take the sub style. Go from A to G2, and I'm going to choose in the style heading 1. Heading 1. It says auto fit column A. So I selected the column. I have these little handles. I double clicked. There it was. And the one thing that didn't seem to work at this moment was that center. There we go. The centering and merging across those. Next up, on the same number 13, it says I already auto fit column A. The next thing is center the worksheets horizontally. Change the orientation to landscape. So it's under the page setup to show you exactly how we get there. As you go, make sure everything's, first of all, just make sure both tabs are still Control and grouped together. Let's go up to the titles, or excuse me, we'll go up to that page setup area. And what we're going to do is center the worksheets horizontally. So center the worksheets horizontally. And in addition to that, change the orientation to landscape. Backstage View, this is for number 14, step 14. In Backstage View, on the left click Save. So the Backstage View is under the file. This is the Backstage View. Here, on the left click Save. Okay, that's what I did. And then click the bulb sheet to cancel the grouping. Let's go to bulb sheet. And then cancel that automatically gets rid of the two groups that are together. See, this group is together. I just clicked on the bulb. Let me click away here. And that ungroups those two together. Okay, now it says click the Trees tab, so let's go over there, hit that. Then insert a new worksheet. Okay, so let's do that. Insert a new worksheet is that little plus sign. It's the new worksheet. Change the worksheet to summary. Got it done. By double clicking on it and you type it in there. Then widen column A through D. Widen columns A to D. And they want it by a certain width, which is 20.63. Very specific. So let's do that. I have it highlighted. Oops. I have it highlighted. A through D. Right click. Scroll down and you'll see column widths or column width. And now type in 20.63. Column width, done. The next part says move the summary sheet so that it is the first sheet in the workbook. So how do we do that? I'm going to click on summary. I'm going to hold it down with my left button, drag it to the far left, and that places that in front of the bulbs and the trees. That'll complete number 14. We're going on to 15. In cell A1, let's do this. We're going to type in an A1 right here. I'm going to just paste in, but you would type in Pasadena Inventory System. And it says merge and center across the range from A1 to D1. A1 to D1. I highlight the entire thing. So I start here in this one cell of A1 and I go all the way across, and now I'm going to merge and center. So the next part is they're going to say is apply the title style. And so by having this already highlighted, we're going to go into the style here and do title. Next up, we're going to type in as of December 31st. And this is going to be an A2. So I will do that. I'm just going to copy it, but you'll have to type it in. And the same thing, we're going to click on the cell, drag all the way to the D, merge and center, and apply heading style 1. Style heading 1. That concludes number 15. We're on to 16 now. On the bulb sheet, copy, let's go copy the range A4. Okay, let's find A4. A4 to A8. And I'm going to copy that, right click, copy. Now I'm going to go back to the summary sheet. It says display the summary sheet, so I'll do that. And it says paste in cell 5. So here we go. Paste. Apply the heading 4 cell style. So everything's highlighted right now. I'm going to the style, and I'm going to do heading 4. That concludes number 16. On to 17. In the summary sheet, where we are now, type in bulbs. That's for B4. In C4, oh, I made a mistake here. This is B. I went into the A section. And here, I will type in trees. In D4, type in bulbs and trees. Okay, type that in. / and then center the column titles, then apply heading 3. All right. I'm going to center the column titles by highlighting them all, hit center, and then the style is going to be number 3, heading 3. Before I get too far ahead, let's just see if I am about in the right area. It looks like I am. Again, don't worry if you don't see everything done perfectly at this moment, because we're not all the way done. We just got to keep kind of referring to it. Next thing, we're going on to number 18. Just a few more to go. So in B5, right here in the summary area, B5, right here, we are going to connect this information from the actual bulbs sheet. So that simply is this equals, I'm going to go to total stock items in bulbs, hit enter, and there it is. So I want to make sure it has that same number there, and it keeps going back to accounting. Get rid of these numbers. I don't know how I got rid of those decimal place. By just clicking this button to have shorter or less decimal places, less zeros. And then for now, I'm going to take this and do the same thing. I'll just do this as equals, this equals this, bulbs, average price. This equals median. Lowest equals, on the bulb side. There are easier ways to do this, but this is the way we're going to do it at this moment, so you can see exactly what we have to do manually. The next one will be the trees. For the trees, we'll do the same thing. I hit this will be equal. Here are trees, total items in stock. Hit that. Still have to make sure that I have this very important part, the comma style, and I will reduce those zeros. The next one will be, this will be equal. We'll go to trees for average price. Select on it, hit enter. and then I'll do the same thing over and over again. So the next one will be median price. I'll go to median price, hit enter. Go to hit equals, trees, lowest price. Select it, enter. Next one we'll do is this will be equal. We'll go to trees for the highest price. Highest price 65. Hit enter. There's 65. That completes number 19. We're on to 20. In cells D5, D6, 7, 8, and 9, insert column Sparklines using the values in the bulbs and the trees column. Format the Sparklines using the styles in the first row as followed. So we'll do that in just a minute. Let's go to 5, 6, 7, and 8. And we're going to insert Sparklines. These are the Sparklines. And the data ranges are coming from here. Okay. So as you do this, you go up to this area right here and you just hover. And it says Sparkline style accent 1 darker 50%. So that's done for 1. The second one, go up and you'll see that it's accent 2 dark 50%. Click on that. And then this, and so forth. You see this is accent 3. And I click on this one right here, the lowest, or D8 will be the accent 4. And then last but not least is style 5 darker 50% for the D9. Alright, that's good there. Next to 21, to the range of B5 to C5. B5, there we go, B5 to C5, B5, C5. Apply comma style with 0 decimal places. Okay, so I've already done that, and I was ahead of myself, but see, decreased decimal. So it looks just like the way it is on my screen now. And then this is to the range of B6 to C9. This all should be accounting. Number format, which it already is, but I'm just going to make sure it's done. And then it says center the summary worksheet horizontal and change the orientation of landscape. So that's in our page layout. And we'll click on the page layout horizontally in the margins, center on the page, and then we'll go landscape, and that is done there. The next part is insert a custom footer in the left section with the file name. Insert a custom footer. So we're going to go to insert, and we're going to put in the custom footer. Go to the bottom of the page. Footer. And let's go to that section, and in the footer, in the left hand, we'll put the file name. So let's look for file name. In order to do that, I'd rather go to the bottom of the page and see it myself. Move it down here. Here's my footer. I'm going to insert in this footer, excuse me, the design part will let me know. And what I'm looking for exactly is the file name. There it is. Hit enter. That's done for 21. Now we're on our last step. Ensure that the worksheets are correct. This is number 22. Ensure that the worksheets are correctly named and placed in the following order in the workbook. Summary, bulbs, trees. Save, close the worksheet, and then we're going to submit. Let's do that, and we'll go from there. I just noticed something as I was closing up, that number 20 was done incorrectly. I added sparklines, but I didn't add column sparklines. The difference is from line or column. So that mistake happens. So I will show you what I did. And this is number 20. You can delete out this section like this. Get rid of it. Hit the backspace. And now this is what I'm looking at. I'm going to insert here a column sparkline. The data range is from here to here. I hit OK. The same will go, I'll do it again as well to the column. I want you to see this. Hit OK. Hit OK. Insert column data range. Hit OK. And now this style for number four should be, hopefully I got this right, accent 4. Nope. All the way to the top here. Should be accent 4 dark 50. And then the next one will be, this one will be all the way to the top. This should say accent 5. There we go. Now that concludes how we should do things.